So hello everyone. Today we are doing tarot. We have had such a I don't know if it's a series of uh misadventures when it came time to our doing our tarot studies. Because I can't really remember the last time we were in here. We did something. I know we were just working on the
I think the last time was when what's
we
her
were
name? Um, um, the young lady from Newport News
uh-huh.
that has the that we met at the expo.
Right, yeah.
I think
So
that was
yeah,
the
so
last
we
time.
haven't, yeah, but we I mean when we're doing individual cards, just us.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, gotcha.
it's been a little while. So anyway, so here we are. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So um just everybody just get real still. Allow your minds to be at peace. Just understand that we are whole and complete and perfect just as we are. Take a couple of deep breaths and center ourselves. We know that there is only one source, one essence. That essence is a part of all that there is. All that there is because of this essence, this wholeness, immutable. Nothing can transcend it. Nothing can, because everything is one thing. And as we know that we are part of that one thing, that we are understanding with this journey in tarot, is how to be complete, how not to look fearfully in any direction, how to be whole and understanding the ups and downs, the positives and the negatives of all truth. There is all truth has both um, upright and shadow. So as we continue in our study of tarot, let's allow ourselves to be fulfilled with this knowledge of what this journey is for us. And as we are so thankful just that we can get together with like-minded people where we can come out and study about tarot and, not be afraid that someone's trying to burn us at the stake. But we just understand that there is the truth of being among like-minded people, where expression can be free and without any form of limitation. And as this is with this thought in mind of the freedom that we have in oneness, that's the emotion that we release. Freedom. We release it not only in our minds and in our physical bodies, but in our environment, in our homes, in our community, in this world. And with that, we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, so I kind of just wanted today, just in the beginning, to really catch up with what we remember or what we know about tarot. So I guess the first question I'm gonna ask everybody is, why tarot?
I see tarot as an aid, and when I say an aid, something that helps to bring our consciousness into better focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know if Forrest can hear or answer, so I'll just go ahead and chime in on this too. The reason, honestly, and I think I've mentioned this before, the reason I got into tarot is just because I was left a deck of cards. You know, I had always heard about them, and I was left a deck, but and the more I looked into them, I said, this is a really good way of understanding life. You know, I can
Mhm.
understand my life, I can understand where I am, I can help others. You know, it's so much availability in tarot. You know, so many, so much to do. Okay, so another question. And if you got any questions or comments, you know, just bring them up.
Okay.
Let's see. So another thing I wanted to talk about, or just do you what ways do you cleanse your tarot, your deck of cards, and how are you energizing them?
Um, Usually I just hold them in my hand and say a little prayer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think and if we pray in our deck before we use them,
Hmm.
you know, and after use too, you know, because you know that's one of the things we do want to, you know, cleanse the energy of whatever it was that we were reading.
Mm.
But you
Uh,
know, I know people sage them. Yeah, go ahead.
Say, what do you mean? You burn sage?
Yes, mm-hmm. And
Okay.
fan the sage over the
Over them?
cards. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
You about to say something?
No, you just brought up, kind of brought up a thought when you said how you got into tarot. And I don't even remember how I became fascinated with tarot. I think maybe it was one day when I was browsing in Barnes and Noble
Mm-hmm.
in the I forget now, they don't call it metaphysical, but in the area where they have stuff like
Like,
numerology and
right.
yeah. And I think that's what I think that's what I really don't remember.
Yeah. But that's the, and I think it's like anything else. You know, you might have always been drawn to it, but for whatever reason in life, you just, you know, it just hadn't entered in yet.
Right, right.
Yeah. And then once it enters in, you know, you could, because when I first started doing tarot, people were still, you know, like mesmerized, but it was something they wanted to sneak and do, you know,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
because you know, it was still, you know, they still felt
It's
something
still
wrong with it.
taboo
Yeah, uh-huh. And
or
it
considered evil.
yeah. Yeah, but but it's like any other spiritual practice. It
Hmm.
can be evil,
Depending on who and
uh,
how it's being
and how
used.
it's used. Yeah. But the thing is that um it doesn't show anything that is outside of life, and I think that that's what most people are kind of afraid of,
Hmm.
because you know they think that the death card means that now it's gonna predict my life and tell me, because that's what mostly everybody, have whenever I've read somebody else's cards, one of the first things, I don't know if they're gonna tell me when I'm gonna die. I said, well, they might, but you know,
To me, the death
nine
card,
times out of ten.
right. But to me,
Yeah.
the death card represents death, but not necessarily the death of this body. It
Right, it's
means the death.
transition. It just means
Yeah,
transition. Yeah.
exactly.
It just means
Exactly.
transition.
And
Um,
it's funny now because when people announce the death of a friend or a relative, they just say that they've transitioned as opposed to
mhm.
having died. Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. Mhm. Um, yeah, so yeah, another way that we can energize our cards are the same way. You know, if you have an altar or some sacred or holy place in your home,
Hmm.
if you place your cards there, you know, light a candle, say a prayer, you know, let your cards be energized by that sacred space.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I've
Um,
also seen somewhere, I don't remember now where in my reading and resources that I have in hand, is that if you put the cards um, where I think it's a full moon
mhm.
to shine on them, that's another way of cleansing. I think,
Hmm. Energizing, cleansing
yeah,
and energizing
yeah,
also.
okay, maybe that's what it
Hmm.
was, energizing.
Hmm. And if you do this during any of the like the ho- holy days, like
During Lent.
any of the equinoxes,
Oh, okay.
you know, that's that energy train, strengthens.
Hmm.
Hmm.
When the equinoxes come, don't they usually start on a new moon? I haven't paid attention, close enough attention to discern whether that is so or not, but I was just asking, I don't know.
Oh, well, I just know it's at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Uh-huh. So, I mean,
Yeah.
what time you said to begin at noon? I don't know.
No, no, no. I think you just answered my question. You just said that the new moon is at the beginning of the season. So
Oh, uh-huh.
that 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 answered my question.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah. Especially, winter and summer. Okay, so the next question I was gonna ask is, let's talk about our understanding of shadow side. What does shadow side mean to you, and how do you look at it when you're looking into the shadow side of the card?
You mean the reverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see it as cautionary. Be careful, be cautious. Um, I think I've told you before that right now I'm going through my deck, getting acquainted with it, even though I've had it for a few months. I just recently decided I'm going to sit down and get to know these cards, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
going through them two a day, one in the morning and one at night, just before I turn off the light and go to sleep. And I've been focusing mainly on the keywords. And when they talk about that reverse, I just kind of skim over it. I don't really pay close attention to it like I do the right side up
Mm-hmm.
thing, because right now what I'm trying to do is get to know what the card is all about and not so much what the reverse is. And when I get through, I think I have a little over a week left before I have gone through the entire deck.
Mm-hmm.
And when I,
But you won't know the card good if you don't know the reverse.
okay,
Yeah. So the
yeah,
reverse and the upright, both of them are just as important.
right. Well, like I said, I read it, but I don't give it the attention that I give, the upright
Hmm.
position
Yeah.
for right now. But that will be a part of my next round of
Yeah,
going through the card.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, we see it as negative. We see that's the negative part, you
Right.
know. And we generally don't want to look at the negative part.
Right. And
No.
like I said, with me, I see it as a caution. If it's upside, if it's reversed, it's
Mhm.
it means caution, be careful.
Right.
It's like a warning. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Um, but as you look at the shadow side, that's where we find all of our releases from. We can become released from some type of trauma
Hmm.
because of what the shadow side is showing us, where we might possibly be stuck, or where we might have some unconscious fear, uh,
Hmm.
or we can, and the shadow side shows us where we just simply need to change here. There's an
Right.
aspect of self that this is your sand trap right here. This is where you as an individual needs to change.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
even in my just skimming that,
Mhm.
I have gotten that message that you just conveyed.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Um and so and of course upright, that gives us, because we know that there is only good.
Hmm.
There's only good. So it is like, it's more attractive to look at the good, because the good can be a goal. The good can be, you know, um, a place where, we receive honor, because we
Hmm.
know that this is the place, this is something that, you know, comes natural for me, or I have aspired to and gain and attain this thing, you know. So those are one of the things that I see with the upright
Hmm.
cars, is because they, especially the cars like the minor arcane,
Hmm.
because when those cars are upright, you really understand the uh I guess the strength of your physical being, you know.
Hmm.
hmm
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts when we talk about upright?
Um, uh, it's the Pollyanna in me. I I see, the positive, the good, um, um, I can't think of any other words that I want to use, but it's all good, it's all positive.
Mhm.
I can't.
And like you said, it's the
but
Pollyanna
but
in me.
the thing of it is, when as I'm going through the cards one by one, certain um of the minor arcanes, the suits of the minor arcanes are more harsh, or not as um Pollyanna, bright, sunshining kind of
Mhm.
thing. They in a sense, and I don't particularly like using this word, but they, in a sense, cast a shadow over whatever is going on, or whatever is being inquired of.
Mhm. Mhm. You said, the
With
minor arcane. All of
Yeah,
the minor
what
arcane. Uh-huh.
for example, the suit of swords,
Mhm.
uh it's good,
Yeah.
but it's brutal in the way it conveys its message. I mean, it
Right.
it it
Mhm.
tells the honest truth, and sometimes
Right.
that ain't always pretty.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of and with the the major arcane is that part where we have that archetype.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is the example of what that spiritual life looks like. And when that minor arcane, we see that that's really where the
Yep.
hero's journey comes in, because you not only are doing it in consciousness, but you're doing it as in your manifest world at the same time.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's discipline.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
discipline. Okay, so I think that was all of the kind of what recap that I really wanted us to go over. Do you have let me ask you, what are you getting out of understanding tarot where you are right now?
Um, the more I go over it, because what I do is when I pull a card, if it's one of the minor arcane,
Mm-hmm.
I first of all I look at what the overall concept, or the the positive and the negative of the um, suit is,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever the individual card is, I look at that. For example, if it's one of the trump cards, I mean one of the court cards, or one
Mm-hmm.
of the number cards, I look at whatever that number or that court representative is all about. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of try and look at, and of course, with mine, it's just absorbing what I am reading so that I can get the understanding. And I'm just jotting down words so that I can go
Mm-hmm.
back and, um, you know, hold on, how do I want to put it? Um, uh, get my intuition juices
Mm-hmm.
rolling.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
What does that mean to me, kind of thing? Because basically, I'm interested in tarot mainly for personal answers. I'm not looking to read for anybody.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's and I think that's where tarot really needs to start off with, is our own personal development,
Hmm.
through this medium.
Hmm.
I um i still love to pull a card, and just to see
See
where
what,
I am, and or where I need to be, and
right.
just try to or just try to figure out, because like I'm saying, every card I pull up for at least almost 2 months, my cards have come out in reverse.
Mm.
Different cards, but they're always, I mean, that's the pattern. And I just, I my understanding of it where I am right now is that there is a newness that is coming in my life, and I have to be prepared for whatever it is,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, let's start off with our first of the major ow ow ow, oh, move my leg. Okay, there we go. Woo.
Mhm.
um from the Fool to the Hierophant, you know, just looking at, because those are the cards that we have been over kind of a little bit more. So what is your understanding of those first 6 cards there?
Well, with the Fool,
Mhm.
I'm seeing, being open, the naivete of someone who is just starting out, the neophyte, who's just starting out on a journey with an open mind. They're like, the Fool is like a baby. They're there
Mhm.
to absorb all that is needed for whatever journey that or path that I'm on.
Mhm.
The Magician kind of helps to make it happen.
Mhm.
The High Priestess, I see her as as the one who is going to keep us on the straight and narrow kind of thing.
Mhm.
The Empress, growth, new, anything new. She's fertile for anything that's new and exciting. The Emperor kind of keeping things in check. And with the Hierophant, did I say that right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
With the Hierophant, um, kind of like the combination of the spiritual as well as the um, 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 physical realm, um, kind of overseeing all of that and keeping all of that uh, relevant.
Mhm. Mhm. Very good. Yeah, you got it going on, girls. You got it going on.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and when you think of and you can see how each one is ordered to build on the next one,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you think of those as just like levels of consciousness,
Right.
you know, that yeah, there's going to be always a place where I'm absolutely, where I always know what the truth is.
Hmm.
I can always recognize the truth until up to this part where okay, you know this is where I also, this is another level of consciousness, each one going from one to the next one.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And with the Lovers is not as like number 6.
Hmm.
The Lovers, it can be seen as through many angles. Of course, in tarot, you look from many angles of where this card is placed in the reading itself,
Hmm.
to um uh what it means, physically, because we're already seeing another way of balance. But this is that first place of balance where there are two individuals.
Hmm.
Everything else, so you really come to that part of, there's a, even within yourself, there is a masculine side and there is a feminine side.
Feminine side, yeah.
And how I keep these things in balance. And the Chariot, right next to it, that tells us that okay, I'm I know how to balance and manage my emotions. I know how to, allow myself to be in control of myself. And so, got past that part of where, of where you're learning discipline to now I am disciplined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel about strength? Number 8.
Well, with my deck of cards, when I'm looking at it, it shows a woman holding open the mouth of a lion. And to me, it shows the lion, of course, being the king of beasts, but he's just laying there looking up at her and not, he doesn't seem to be resisting in any way. So what that's telling me, as far as my card is concerned, is that feminine strength can be a powerful kind of strength, even among the even with the most powerful. It can be taming.
Yeah. And number 9, the Hermit. He's really looking within.
Okay.
Where am I going from here? And there is, some self in what you call it, introspection.
Yeah.
So into to really look into that egoistic part of self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's interesting when you hear the word of what each of these cards represents, what comes to mind, and then when you look at the card and begin to discern what's going on in the scene, it's a whole different perspective. Because to me, when I hear the word hermit, I think of somebody that's withdrawn. And you did mention the fact that he is going within. But initially, when I hear the word hermit, the first brief thought that crosses my mind is loneliness, as opposed to being alone and going within to get to know yourself better.
Yeah. And you can see how these are building on one another. From understanding yourself to being disciplined within that understanding. Now I'm stronger. Yeah, now let me just take a moment and look within and see if everything is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times we don't often give ourselves that time for introspection.
Exactly.
And
that's what I enjoy so much about my quiet time in the morning. I have, set aside an hour and a half for that quiet time, just, as you call it, introspection. Yeah. And I find that if for some reason or other I wake up late and I have to do something, or something is on the schedule and I have to follow, a time frame, if I don't have that quiet time, I feel a little out of sorts, and sometimes things don't go the way I expect them to. But it comes to me, when it dawns on me that I didn't take that quiet time, and I do take, even if it's only a 15-minute meditation,
Right.
things seem to fall into place a little bit better after that, those few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good to have a certain time of day when you just give yourself a break
Mm-hmm.
and seek within.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So let's look at number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. And uh, and now we're understanding how vital life is. You know, to me, this card always represents for me. It represents for me that, you know, when you're fully mature and you really know how to have fun, you know how to
Mm-hmm.
go on vacation and come back and still have to keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, uh this is what this card always means for me, is just that it's that height of that lived experience where we understand that life is sometimes up and sometimes down.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, you know what, so when we, as we're looking at all of when we're looking at all of these cards, and we're going to look at the all of the swords right now too.
Okay. I
So
just pulled the ace through the 10.
oh, yeah, we need, yeah, all of, yeah, it's like the you know, the page, the knight, the
Oh, I
queen,
should
and the king.
I should have
Yeah,
pulled them too.
yeah, that's the whole suit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Uh-huh.
let me find them.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting how when we are looking at the major arcane and the minor arcane together,
Mm-hmm.
because it really um, helps us be able to see where our manifested life fits into our higher consciousness level.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. One of the things about the swords that and you know, it all comes to some Dex philosophy, is that some say the swords come at the beginning, some say the swords come at the end. I say, you know, that's up to you where you want to put your swords. You know, I don't mind my swords being at the beginning, because I think that the first thing we do is communicate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's what the swords represent, is
Okay. When you say the beginning and the end, I can't find my page. When you say the beginning and the end, what do you mean?
you know, like the order of the cards,
Oh,
the
okay.
order of the suits, I mean, the order of the suits, the different
Okay.
suits. Yeah.
Because all of the material that I have been uh, using as reference puts them in the third. It puts them third. The first
Mhm.
one is the
Pentacles.
Wands.
Wands. Oh yes.
Wands.
Yes.
And then
Wands
the,
always come at the end.
okay, the wands, the cups, and wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. And one of my reference sources consider wands as being the formation of an idea, cups as being they see those as emotional,
Mm-hmm.
and they are that's where you kind of get a feel for whatever that idea is, whether you're going to reject it or you're going to fall in love with it or not. And then the swords is where you're actually taking action, trying to put that idea or to have that idea eventually manifest in the pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
That, that's, like I said, that's my the sources of reference that I have is what my sources have been telling me.
Right.
Yeah.
And and that's what I'm saying, because it's different for me,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm saying, we get to, I mean, we don't have to see it any one specific way,
Right,
you
exactly.
know. Yeah, because the swords do mean action, you know, but you have, this is when you are really speaking it into existence, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how those two go directly together. And one of the things I love about when just like if you have like two swords, you got the emperor and one of the swords within your readings, you know either if you do a 3-card reading, or just a regular 10-card reading for yourself
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
anybody else, you can see how those are, how they, what do they mean together. That's
Right,
something that we pay attention to. What do they mean together, since they are in this one lesson?
right.
Yeah. So when we're looking at our swords, we can see how they go above, how they go in order too. You know, the one the aces always represent ideas in all of the suits.
Mm-hmm.
The ace represents the new idea, and that is like a new challenge um for either for the ego or for the situation, or for um you know the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
mhm,
It's the beginning.
it's the beginning, yeah. And that's the thing with swords, is that you know now you're really stepping out in truth. You're going by whatever the most truthful you can be at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
The two is represents balance,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that there is some duality, but you're balanced through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's your understanding of two?
I see it as a coming together, a joining of two minds, a union, the forming of a union. In other words, it reminds me that I'm not in this world alone, and there is somebody that I can partner with to help me on this journey, or to be with me on this journey, whatever.
Okay, what about your number 3?
What I told my car. Oh, sorry about that. 3, the message that I'm getting from there is, when two come together, they can create, it's the one and the two coming together to create something, whether it's a partnership or co-op, what am I trying to say? A business or a family, but it's the two coming together to bring forth that third entity, and they're creating best way I can put it is the fruition of the partnership of the one and the two.
Yeah, and that's a different way of seeing that. I mean, I've never thought of it that way.
Oh, and how do you see it?
That there's treachery within our sacred space. We have, where is it within ourselves, especially if we're paying attention to ourselves. Where am I not being completely honest? Where am I not am I not willing to listen to truth, or hear truth, or speak truth, and why at the moment? That's how I have always seen, 3 of Swords, because they
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the 3 just in general. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question, but go ahead. I see where you're going there.
Oh no, because we're talking about the swords.
Oh, okay. All right. So when you ask, I just just thought about the number 3. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah. That's why I said, we're looking at the swords, like the Ace of Swords, the 2 of Swords, so the 3 of Swords.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and what you're saying now, that's because I've already pulled that 3 of Swords, and basically that's what I wrote in my journal. Kind of what you're saying, maybe not in the same words, but it's the same perspective, I should say.
Oh, right.
I got the same perspective. Yeah.
Well, it really is. It really is the same perspective. I mean, at some level there was a joining, and how do you intersect with another aspect of this, this, in this joining.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Four of Swords?
Give 'em a card, look at it. Ooh. What I'm seeing there is four. When I look at four in general, it's we're talking about a balancing, but when I look at my card, it's a young woman who is kind of levitating, and she's levitating over a sword, and then there are three pointing down at her, which means that she's probably in between two worlds. So,
Okay.
I mean, my interpretation. And she's I think more in the spiritual realm than in the physical realm when I look at this, because like I said, she's levitating. So it's I would say a kind of spiritual balancing.
Which deck do you have?
It's called the One World Tarot.
The One World Tarot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why, I was gonna say, I think that's why, we should be looking at tarot the same way we should be looking at the Bible, or some other type of spiritual literature, because
right,
everybody has a different
different.
interpretation.
Right.
You
But
know,
I have been looking at the cards that I have, and then I go and look at one of the reference books that I have, which is like a general reference book. It doesn't based on any particular card or any particular deck, I don't think. And I look at the what is it, the weight,
right, Rider Waite.
the weight,
The
you know,
Rider Waite.
the rider weight. And I
Oh.
look for the commonality, between the two. And I'm seeing, okay. It's just, like you said, and a different interpretation of the same thing, but certain basic things about the two decks are there. They're just there.
Yeah, that all of the fours kind of mean meditation. To be in a more meditative state of mind. Contemplation. Really watching your words here. That's exactly what that stands for. That Four of Swords. Paying attention and paying attention to words that we hear as well. You know. And sometimes, that can be hard to do. To be that focused. Number 5 is an interesting card, because it all accounts to what angle you're looking at. Whether this person is going by collecting all of the swords from a battle won or a battle lost.
Battle lost, yeah.
um
Yeah,
And
because with my deck, it shows one person collecting all the swords and two others walking away. Now, who's the victor and who's the loser?
mhm.
You know.
And but it also shows that there is more accomplished than what has been. Because at one point in time there was all five of them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But now at least three of them are, you know, what's that? 2/3 of the way.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the person that's holding the swords is holding three, and there's two on the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's always and that's all, and that's a balancing act
Mm-hmm.
hard on its own.
Exactly.
You know, it shows that, I mean, if you can see it after a battle, or you can see that this is the value of a thing that's being picked up and retrieved. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so you can see that, see it in whatever circumstance that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So what do you think about number 6?
Mm-hmm. Ah, this is a really interesting one. When I look at my card,
Uh-huh.
what I'm seeing is concern, care, um, because what I'm looking at is a young man in a boat with 6 swords in the helm, or the four. Yeah, the front part of the boat.
Right.
He's sailing out of stormy waters into calmer waters, and he is on a rescue mission because what he has in the boat with him is a young woman and her child, and it's like he's rescuing her. So basically what I'm seeing is you've gone through a rough time and things are getting better.
Mhm.
Things, and behind them is a guy. It looks like the day is just beginning,
Mhm.
because it looks more like a sunrise than a sunset as far as the scene is concerned. And like I said, going from
I can relate.
star. Hey, Forrest.
Hello, I'm just
Hey
listening.
there.
Hello, I can relate to a lot of these things that we're talking about tonight, today.
Good.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh. It's actually where I'm at in my life today as we speak.
All right.
Talking about the new beginnings.
New
Talk about a new
beginnings.
beginning.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how we, cut our way through the thick of it with the truth. You know,
right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
because this 6 is definitely a card of, you know, um, transition. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we moved on from that battle that we were in just now, and now we're moving on to that next level where, you know, there is some smooth sailing ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I can say this, hearing your voices, it gives me more happiness, understanding that my decision that I'm going to be making with my change, talking to you gives me more happiness and making sure I'm in the right path of new beginnings.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because there's something about understanding um the truth of a thing, you know,
Mhm.
that can make you make that plan, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can, you can see your way, out clearly from whatever it is.
Uh-huh. Right.
Now, what are your thoughts on on number 7, Harriet?
Um, as I look at my card, what I'm seeing is a warrior walking away with one, two, three, four, five swords. He's holding 5 swords, and then there are behind him, 2 are sticking up out of the ground, and he's walking away from what looks like a shelter. And I don't know, whether he's headed to battle or whether he's, you know, um, and it looks like a night sky behind him. So what I'm thinking is perhaps he's had his day and now he's going to um, uh, prepare the swords for the next battle that he might be facing. You know, that's what I'm kind of getting from that. Um,
Yeah, and I have the Morgan Greer deck, or that's what I'm looking at today anyway.
mhm,
Um, and I have like a kind of yellowish background, a golden background,
mhm.
and the 5 swords are all in shadow
Okay.
that he's carrying.
Mhm.
So, so he's carrying, the 5 swords that he's carrying are in shadow. So he
Mhm.
kind of like um that's a that's a caution, that's a caution to see who this person is, if it's not you, trying to sabotage yourself.
Mhm.
Okay, Andre was trying to come on, and I don't know what.
Yeah, it looked like he dropped off.
Mm.
Who, me?
No, not
No,
you.
on
Oh,
Oh.
Andre.
okay. Yeah. Mhm. And he's carrying the shadow side, which is it seems like that's that's the thing that he's chosen, because he's left um the two show the two swords that you can see, he's left them behind,
Mhm. Mhm.
in my Morgan Greer deck. So this is the thing that I like about different decks, because when you're looking at it, all accounts to what the situation is that's going on in you and your life at the
Right.
moment.
Right. And
Uh,
the interesting thing is when you were talking about what the deck that you're looking at,
mhm,
you talked about him walking away. Now with mine, the warriors in the foreground, and he has left the 2 behind, but they're sticking up in the ground. I haven't figured out the significance of that yet, and it looks like he's walking away from a shelter or a tent, or whatever, wherever he beds for the night. Because like I said, it's a night sky because I can see the stars.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and yeah, and that makes a difference in what you're reading for yourself or what you're reading for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, when you do read for somebody else, the whole, because eventually, you know, the more you read, the less you need the cards to read from. You know, that card means something much broader than just the independent um, description of the card. You know, you won't even see the card. You don't even really need the card itself to, to be able to read through.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Hey Andre, glad you made it. So right now we're looking at the swords. We're doing that whole suit of swords. So if you want to just grab um
Yeah.
your deck, and so that you can get out the whole suit of the swords from the ace to the king, and also if you can pick out the fool to the wheel of fortune in the major arcane. And just let us know when you're ready. So I'm gonna talk about number 8. 8 of swords.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm.
my deck that I have, we have a female that is surrounded by 8 swords, and she's blindfold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she seems to be in a desolate place. But when you look at it closely, you can see that she can easily get in the things that's binding her is very loose, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always escape,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It, even when we feel that we might be in a tight spot, there's always, there's always a possibility of um achievement.
Mm-hmm.
You're not stuck here. Not,
Mm-hmm.
not really, you're not really stuck here. Not in idea or thought or, you know, or pattern.
Mm-hmm. Well,
What's your thoughts about 8, Harriet?
okay, when I look at mine, like you said, she is blindfolded. She's surrounded by 8 swords, but there is an opening. It's they're forming a circle around her, but there is an opening for her to escape whatever dilemma she might be facing. And she's standing with one foot on the ground and the other one in water, which represents the ethereal realm, or the spiritual realm. So she's contemplating, and behind her is a castle, or it looks like a castle, well fortified, I might say. So um no matter what the dilemma, what it's telling me is, no matter what the dilemma, if we just take the time to contemplate, we can find a way out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey Andre, are you ready to jump in, or? Okay, well, I'll give you some more time. Um, yeah, Now, number 9, now this has been like represented for what I know, and and usually when I do see it as a pattern, I do pay attention to it, because this is the card that really means more of a physical death than, say, the death card, you
Hmm.
know. hmm
Hmm.
Um, uh, so, and I don't know why that is,
You mean
but
why you feel or you see it the way you do, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
and it often, it often shows itself to be that way.
Hmm.
Something, or something important will pass.
Hmm.
Mhm. Someone, someone,
Someone or something.
yeah, like a pet, or when I say thing, because pets are someone to us. If
Sometimes,
if it's our pet, we love
sometimes it could be a situation.
yeah. But it usually has something to do with for me, a real a
Oh,
physical,
a living being.
yeah, a physical passing.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well,
Um,
with my card, what's showing is a young woman sitting up in bed. I'm sure it's nighttime, and there are 9 swords on the wall behind her.
mhm.
6 facing in one direction and then 3 facing in the opposite direction, or pointed, I should say, not facing, but pointed. 6 pointed in one direction and 3 pointed in the other direction. And I hadn't thought about left or right. But she is, like I said, sitting up in bed. She has her hands over her eyes as if she's either trying to rub the sleep out of her eyes or trying to um shut out the sight of something. I'm not sure. And she has a beautiful quilt on her bed, and it looks like each one of the squares has a flower in it. And I hadn't thought about what that means either. So I'm kind of um yeah.
I gotta go check on where Wiseon is. It sounds like he's out front. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
hey, Andre, are you on yet?
Yeah, I don't know what was my computer doing. It wouldn't let me either join in or it wouldn't let me talk.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
well, we hear you now loud and clear.
What you
Yeah.
got to say?
I'm confused right now, and I'm just wait. I'm just joining in right now. And I'm just listening.
Oh, all
This,
right.
me too.
You got your cards?
Yes,
So were you able to get out the all of the swords, the whole suit of the swords, and
The first 10
and
major.
yeah, from Fool to the Wheel of Fortune in the major arcane.
I have my swords together. And you said
Uh-huh.
as far as from the Fool to
The Wheel of Fortune to
The
number 10.
first.
To number 10. Yeah, because I don't know what, different decks have different, names too sometimes.
yeah, I'm working with the
Yeah,
Gilded deck.
yeah. Uh, I'm gonna go find out where Wiseon is. So yeah, give you a chance to get that done. Why is he on? Why is he on? Hey. Okay, so I just wanted to check where you were. Okay. Whew. Okay. All right. Oh. All right. Okay, so we're at we were looking at number 9. What are your thoughts on nine of swords, Andre?
9 of Swords.
Yeah.
Just saw it. 9 of Swords. My 9 of Swords is as I look at it, this is the first time I've actually pulled it out of my deck to actually see my 9 of Swords. So I do have a woman, and it more or less it more or less looks like she's looking out of a window. I can actually show my card, and that I can do everything. So so it looks like she's looking out a window, but it also looks like it's wary in it as well. It seems to have her in a worried state about something, because I mean she's comfortable in, she's comfortable in her bed, but yet and still she's tossing and turning about something. So something is still churning within her during this night. So it's that's how I'm looking at it from my deck. But like I said, this is the first time I've actually got to pull the card and see it, and it's cool that I get to pull cards with you all today. So
Yeah, and my deck that I have, this that I'm using right now, the Morgan Greer. Let me see if I can do what T-Man just did. It shows like this, but most other decks show like you said, there's a female that's in the bed and is sobbing or weeping, from whatever situation that she's in. She has to pull her way out of this this amount of sadness, because sometimes we get into that place where I lost, so this is where I give up, or you put something down because you're not you what was that word that we used the other day? It's like you have that innocence. What was that? The silent child,
Mm.
There's some type of uh sadness or depression that goes around a something that is like of value. Okay, so what's anybody's thoughts on number 10 of swords?
With mine, it shows a young man face down on the ground with 10 swords in his back. It looks as though he is being covered by a blanket, so perhaps in the attack he was partially disrobed, or he was naked from the bottom down. or from the waist down. But he is, like I said, lying on, it looks like a beach because there's water behind him. Even though it's dark, it's calm. And it looks like, I'm not sure whether, I'm gonna say it's the sun rising because the dark sky shows a phoenix in flight. So what I'm saying is, perhaps at this point, what the card is perhaps saying is, the worst is over and things will get better.
Mhm. Yeah, that's how I've always seen the Ten of Swords,
Hmm.
is that it only it's only as bad as it looks.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know
Hmm.
that there's room from here. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Andre?
Well, look, again, this is a new card that I'm pulling. So mine is similar to what Miss Harriet says, except my my young man is laying in a field.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, the Ten of Swords are all pointed down at his back, and he's on his belly. Um, I do see that on one end of where he's at, um, the light. It seems like it's either I'm with Miss Harriet on that. It seems like the sun is just about to come up, but I have three birds in my background, as well as I have a deer.
Oh.
And it seems like the deer is approaching the Ten of Swords. So it's a the way I'm looking at it is not necessarily what you want to call a resurrection in that
Mhm.
manner, but it's um it's a healing process as well with the way I'm looking at it, the way that the deer approaches the character in my card. Again, I'll show you all.
Mhm.
So we have a deer in the background of, and the deer
Uh-huh.
seems to be approaching, and
Uh-huh.
as well as the birds seem to be flying towards to the
Mhm.
more early morning part of the sun
Mhm.
versus going into the darkness. So I think it's a
Mhm.
rejuvenating card. It's like you all said, the worst has already come, so
Mhm.
it's now it's healing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so now the court cards. Let's see, 3:30. So the court, and so if you're looking at the cards, from 1 to 10, it's like a developmental course. It's like from kindergarten to you know what, in middle school, and the court cards are like like high school. So that your your page is like that, that teenager, that youthful part of self that is more naive, but is learning more about the world. The same way, and now the knight is another degree of maturity, and the queen has uh, a lot of the knowledge and the movement and the creative part, and the king is now the whole thing is solidified. That's maturity is um is 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 done right here.
Mhm.
Hmm. So what are your thoughts about the page of swords?
For me, it's I'm seeing a young man wielding a sword. Not he doesn't look too sure of himself. The background, I see mountains, a cloudy blue sky with clouds, and 5 birds flying by. So if you think of it the way you said, think of the court cards as being the 4 levels as far as high school is concerned. He's a freshman. He's just getting started. He's learning the ropes. But he's still not sure of himself at this point. He still needs
What about you, Andre? What are your thoughts of the page?
Yeah, I'm looking at mine
And
and
the
I
knight too. You do the page and the knight.
okay, my page,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Miss Harry. It's more of a beginning card. It's fresh. I actually look at this card and I'm like, he's kind of he's naive. It's very similar to the Fool card when I look at it. It's just a different knowledge of knowing the journey, but it still has some innocence and naivety to it. Is where I'm getting my page. My knight. My knight. My Knight of Swords is very interesting card because it's more or less. It seems a little. It's more regal to me. It has a. My background is I could say early morning. It's a lot of purple in this card, so it's a lot of purple and blue into my card. I see that my knight has his sword unsheathed and it's actually in the air. It doesn't necessarily look like it's attacking. It looks like but it's more of commanding. It's more of a commanding point of view. Very similar to the Page of Swords on the regalness of it, but it seems to have a disciplined point of view of it. So I'll give you guys an example again.
Oh, you have 2 people. Is it 2 people?
As well as he's riding a horse.
Oh, he's riding a horse. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you had 2 people. Okay.
So his sword is unsheathed. So it seems that he's not necessarily in attack mode, but more in inspiring mode.
So Harriet, what are your thoughts about the knight? So why don't you tell me about your thoughts about the knight and the queen?
Okay, well, with my knight, just like Andre's, he's on a horse, but it's a cloudy sky behind him, and the trees. It looks like it could be springtime. So, and if he's at the sophomore level, he has learned a few lessons. He can perhaps be given some responsibilities, but with supervision. If I think of him as a sophomore, He's able to ride a horse now. And like I said, the tree looks like it's in bloom, like in springtime, with a cloudy sky behind him. So he hasn't weathered the storm yet, but he's getting there, kind of. Oh, and you did say you wanted me to do the queen.
Yeah.
When I look at her, she's facing right on, sitting on her throne. She's facing right. She's holding a sword up, and I'm thinking, when I look at this, I'm thinking wisdom with a certain amount of, I don't know exactly how to express this, but there's a fox pictured on the arm of the throne. So, and an owl is perched behind her. So what I'm seeing here is wisdom with a certain amount of, I hate to use the word, but slyness about it. Is what I'm seeing. She's wearing a purple robe, rather. So there's a certain regalness about her, and she is sitting upright with her holding the sword in the left hand and extending her right hand, like, come to me, you know.
That's really interesting. And that's one of the things that I like about, having different decks to explore, because they do tell you different stories. Yeah, for me, the queen is that card. She understands the language, kind of like the lawyer, where they understand, the language precisely, and she uses it, very well. And I think that when we see in ourselves how so whenever this card comes up in our own readings, we can see, okay, yeah, I understand this situation, I understand this circumstance, and I know how to talk my way out of it. Or for it to how the idea is going to manifest as the best. Okay, Andre, what are your thoughts about the King of Swords?
King. My King of Swords is a cool deck. That's a cool card. My King of Swords, it kind of, he's sitting down. And actually, he actually has the same sword that the Queen of Swords of my deck is actually holding, but he's actually sitting on a throne, and it seems where he's sitting at, he's not in a castle or anything. It seems that he's looking down upon everything. I actually have the planet Uranus in the background. So it's like he is looking down amongst everything. So it kind of shows me that it's protection. And that there is something that is overlooking everything. So I think if this is a card that is being drawn at that point in time, I think it's showing, especially in your daily life, I think it's showing that you are in control, you are in a higher vibration, depending on how the card, whether it's how how it's flipped and how it's turned.
Mhm.
I think it shows your higher dominance of understanding, you know, what you are in, or what you are about to be about to influence yourself to do. So it's more of again, like I said, um, trusting in yourself, and making sure that you're looking down at what you're responsible for, and the creation of what's being responsible, and overseeing it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you. So what I wanted to do now is for us just to shuffle up our cards because we're going to give each other readings. So let's see. Andre, you read me. I read Harriet,
Okay.
and then Harriet will read for Andre. Okay. So let's just shuffle our cards. And as we're shuffling, let's just put our minds in whatever space it needs to be in. Are you inquisitive? Is there something that you want to see? Okay, so and I think that all of us were able to connect all of our energies together. So I think that this is going to be really interesting. So I was thinking that we just do like a 3-card reading. I don't know, we can call it, past, present, future. Um, three, the three, like that 3 base pyramid for your day, you know. So we can do it like that. So Andre, give me just tell me whenever you're ready, and you lay out 3 cards for me.
Okay. All right. Okay, Pam. How would you like me to lay the cards out before, or would you like to have me just shuffle and then you say stop?
Um, yeah, go shuffle, and I say stop.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm shuffling. Just let me know when to stop.
Okay, go. Stop.
And your first card is the Six of Wands.
Okay. There she goes.
And it's in upright position.
Oh, yay! You want to do the second one now?
Yep, just let me know when to stop.
Okay. Okay, stop.
And you have the Ace of Pentacles in upright position.
Ace of Pentacles. Okay, we're just doing the swords. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably should have said. Okay, well,
Okay.
so
Oh, I'm doing the whole deck.
you're doing the whole deck. Okay, that's fine. 'Cause, yeah, I should have said. I should have said. I should have said. I'm sorry. Okay, so you get the Ace of Pentacles.
Yes, in upright
Okay, all
position.
right. That's good. That's good.
And I'm shuffling again, so just let me know.
All right. I'm ready. Yes.
And we have the Ten of Wands in upright position.
Okay, so all of them in upright position.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I see all three of your cards are in upright position that you've chosen. Uh, your Six of Wands show, and from what I'm getting, that is something has been accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so something seems to kind of been returned back in a reciprocal manner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, whether it was energy that was put out, or something that was a achievement of yours, is starting to come back, and you can kind of see, you're looking back and you can see what you've done, um, and you can kind of you can see the fulfillment of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the way I'm looking at it. The people in the cards, he's on his horse. They seem to be cheering. They seem to be welcoming him into
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
welcoming him back into something. So it seems that a task has been achieved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Also, with your Ace of Pentacles, again, it's showing a very serene environment. So it seems to be
Mm-hmm.
grounded in within what's going on, as far as in the root of your heart. You kind of seem to be understanding the nature of yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that leads us to your Ten of Wands, which I think has to do with perseverance, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
continuing to motivate and be motivated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that was that's pretty good because yeah, I'm always, seeing something new. I always have like a new challenge, whether I, follow through on the challenge or not. I always see a new one. I always see a new opportunity. So yeah, that's yeah, pretty much where I am. That was yeah, pretty much on the nose. Okay, so Harriet, I'm going to give you a reading, and I made myself full deck too.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, do you want me to shuffle until I say stop, or you want me just to go ahead and lay yours out?
Shuffle,
Okay.
and I'll stop you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Stop.
Okay. Okay. The first card you have is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So,
Okay.
okay, go ahead and let me know when you're ready again.
Okay. Stop.
Okay, and this is the Four of Swords. So, okay, so this is oh, Forbes. I thought he was here the whole time. I didn't even know he was gone. uh, so this is the Four of Swords. So this is showing that you have balance and
Wait a minute. We didn't do the last one.
no, but I'm just saying, I'm already seeing. Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Stop.
Okay. And it's the Page of Cups is your last card. So yeah, so this yeah, I can see that you are already balancing yourself like in a new like a new financial position. like you have a new, like either new money coming in or a new way of balancing your budgeting, your system, and you already have that balance in in it, and with your Page of Cups, that's showing that your emotion toward it is like fascination of the newness. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you have allowed, like you challenge yourself and you win in the challenge, you're scoring it.
Right.
You
Now,
know,
what were the three cards again?
the Queen of Pentacles, I mean the Nine of Pentacles, I'm sorry, the Nine of Pentacles,
Okay.
the Four of Swords,
Mhm.
and the Page of Cups. And the Nine of Pentacles is in reverse.
Okay.
For me, reverse, it can mean something new that's coming in. It can mean, it can mean that, that okay, I'm doing the same old thing and and hitting myself up against the same old wall, that there is, kind of like no repentance,
Mhm.
but there, so either I am going to repent or I'm not,
Right.
so that's what I'm saying, that for me this is it is talking about a newness,
Mhm.
as you're in a new
Situation.
yeah, a new way of like handling your finances.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you want to do me, or did that make sense, or
Yeah, it does. Because what I'm hearing there is advice, something
Mhm.
to you know um that I need to think about
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
and um act on,
Mm-hmm.
or something
So
to think about as I go about whatever it is.
right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
so you give Andre his reading.
Okay. Ready, Andre?
Yep.
Say when.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Ooh, Knight of Swords.
Mm,
And
that
it's in
sounds
the
about right.
it's in the upright position.
Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Stop.
Two of Swords.
Two.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last one. And they're both in the upright position, by the way.
Okay.
And stop.
Two of Pentacles.
Two of Pentacles.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Um, what I'm seeing here is that you have gone through an awakening, so to speak. You're just beginning. You've begun something, and right now you're trying to you're kind of like with the swords, you're going through, you have been through rather, or you have started on a journey, and what you're needing at this time is time alone to contemplate and to go deeper within. And when it's all said and done, it is going to pay off. It's going to be quite rewarding in some way, is what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think it's really interesting. So how do you feel about that, Andre?
Yeah, it's right there. Going out on going out on my own on certain ways, and maintaining the thought process that I know that I know that I am out there on that. Um, for the first card, you said, and the second card was
The two of swords,
two
and
of swords.
that's where I see you going within.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. It's it's actually that belief in myself. Actually, I think my two of swords um are two swords, and they're going into a heart, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to look at my card. I would have to go through my cards. But I do believe my two of swords does look like that, which means that there is something that is deep. It's something that's deep rooted that I want to do, and I do agree with you that it takes the time for me to take time to myself to be able to organize it out.
Mhm.
And the third card was
The two of pentacles.
the third card.
Two of pentacles.
Oh, the third card was two of pentacles. I'm thinking sword
Mhm.
still. I'm ready to swing a sword. Give me a sword. I'm ready. Give it to me.
Well,
Give it to me. Any shop object. Give it to me. I'll stick and poke. It's
the first two of swords. The
exactly.
last
So
one is pentacles. And like I said, that's where I see, all of what has gone on in the past being paying off in the
Mhm.
future.
yeah. So it shows that, if I continue on this journey that I am on, that it is rewarding, and so it is
Mhm.
telling me to trust in myself and believe in myself first,
Mhm.
and to understand and recognize that this is just my, wherever this leads, this is just my journey. No one else right now
Oh, wow.
needs to be a part of it at this point in time. It's me gathering the knowledge that I need to gather at this point in time.
Mhm.
And the more we understand not only the cards, but how in sync we are with one another, is a way for us to stay within that pocket of what you call of intuition.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, it is exactly 4 o'clock. We went over just a little
Mhm.
bit, but I have really appreciated today's session. I thought this was a really good session. So let's do our roundtable real quick. What did we get from what did we learn from today's session, and how can we apply it to our lives?
I'll go first. For me, today's session was a good exercise helping me to see the cards and to be able to look at them and interpret them. It was just an exercise in helping me to grow as far as learning the cards and knowing how to read them. And I'm going to be continuing on this journey.
Cool
Thank
beans.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. I can jump in next. One of the things that that I learned about this in today's class is how valuable it is to hear from different perspectives, from different decks, and how different people interpret what they see in that deck,
Mhm.
and I think that that's really what life is that we're all just talking about something from our own individual perspective, and what how I can apply it to my life is like I do normally take pull a card every day or every other day or however, but it's good to know that I I can go to somebody else to pull a card for me too,
Mhm.
and
Hello?
hey
Mhm.
there. Yeah, so pull a card for me too. So that's it. That's it for me. Hey, Andre, what about you?
Well, what I got from today, uh, and it's right to the point, so it's so cool, is reinsurance of trusting in myself.
Mhm.
Those three cards really, definitely set me in that category for me to stop scratching my head and asking, am I doing this right? Am I doing this? Am I
Mhm.
supposed to be doing this, or am I supposed to be putting my energy somewhere else? So that kind of grounded me to confirm that I am um on a journey, and it's okay to be on that journey,
Mhm.
and there is no failure in that journey.
Right.
So how I
Mhm.
and how I plan on using it towards my day-to-day thinking is to kind of reinsure myself that yes, yeah, these things will bear fruit. Everything that I am doing and how I'm moving in certain manners are 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 and will bear the fruit that I expect them to bear from the labor and the thought process that I'm dealing with.
Mhm. Mhm.
Before I go, I just wanted to just real quick. I know we're a little past time, but we didn't. Forrest was kind of in and out today too. Did Forrest? Did you want us to each of us to flip a card for you, if you don't mind, Pen?
Oh no, I don't mind.
How would you like, Forrest? Forrest, each one of us, because I'm not sure if you have a deck, but would you like each one of us to flip a card, or would you like to choose someone to just do a reading for you?
Hey, Forrest, can you hear us?
I think we lost him
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to leave him
Yeah, that was
unexplained.
good. Yeah, good thing, because good suggestion. We're looking out because I hadn't thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you back for us? Can you hear us? Did you want us to each one of us to flip a card for you? Yeah, so we don't know whether he can hear us or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next time. So
Yeah.
thank you, Andre. Yeah, but that's it for today's class. Uh we will next be doing let's see, Wednesday. A Course in Miracles Thursday. The new health, I guess, health and awareness. I don't know. I don't have a name for it yet. On Thursday mornings and Thursday evenings, the book Flight, which I'm enjoying very, very much. And then the following Saturday, that's you, Andre, with the Book of Enoch, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the third Saturday. Yeah, that's you with the Book of Enoch. And then Sakina will be in the Science of Mind on the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it for this weekend. And thank you all so very much for you know, what I always say, you know, coming along with me on my mystical magical ride. I always appreciate it.
We're following the yellow brick road.
Okay, would anyone like to close us out in prayer?
I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let us sit back, take in a full, deep, cleansing breath. And as we exhale, let go of all of the negativity, any diseases, illnesses. Just let it go. And let us be grateful for this time that we've spent together, giving us the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom to use the tools that we have been given for the benefit not only of ourselves, but our home, our community, our state and nation, and the universe. And we are grateful to the universe for all the gifts and blessings that we have been given. And with that I say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you all so much.
It's been fun.
It's always fun. I love
Yes.
it every single
Yes.
time.
Yes.
All right, I'll see y'all
Okay.
later. Love you.
Bye all. Love you
Bye.
all.